For the November expansion, we're adding in brand new faction pirate destroyers and faction pirate battlecruisers for both the Garustas pirates and for the Angel Cartel. The Garustas are getting the Mamba and the Alligator, which combine the missile firepower of the Corax and the Drake, which they're based on, with Garusta's drone bays and shield resistance bonuses for both high DPS and high durability. The Angel Cartel, on the other hand, are getting the Mechabul and the Kizriel, both of which feature high projectile DPS and fall-off bonuses, while also having the high mobility players would expect from the Angel Cartel, with the warp speed bonuses and having top speeds for their class. We decided to pick destroyers and battlecruisers this year because there aren't any pirate destroyers and battlecruisers right now, and we know players have been asking for them. Also, it felt like a great time because last year we added the Navy destroyers to the game, as well as extended the Navy battlecruiser lineup, and so it just felt like a great time to do these ships. The design and balance of these ships were very heavily inspired by the existing pirate ships. So for example, the Alligator, which is the Garusta's battlecruiser, is essentially what happens when you take the Kodari Drake hull and the Garusta's healer hull and just merge them together. And that's kind of the approach we went with all four of them. Players looking to get their hands on these brand new ships will be able to do so by taking part in the Insurgency content that's coming in November. You'll be able to choose to align with either the Angel Cartel or the Garusta's pirates. In doing so and helping them spread corruption and chaos across the battlefield and capturing objectives for them, you'll earn loyalty points. You can then spend those loyalty points in their brand new Militia loyalty point stores, which will have blueprint copies for the brand new ships, in addition to a whole host of other cool offers for you. In the Havoc expansion, we're adding destroyers and battlecruisers for just the Angel Cartel and the Garusta's pirates, but in the future we definitely want to add destroyers and battlecruisers for the Serpentis, Sanchez Nation, Blood Raiders and the other pirate factions. What I think players will enjoy the most about these ships though is finally being able to get a hold of them and fly them in the game. I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of creative setups you can come up with them and where you use them, whether it's in factional warfare, the Abyss, killing nullsec players, or maybe even adding these new ships to your killboard if you're an anti-pirate. In the Uprising expansion and in the Viridian expansion, the art team did a great job extending and polishing existing hulls, like the Navy Cormorant and the Navy Phoenix. But this time, the models are completely brand new, and I love seeing them, and I can't wait for you to experience them in the game as well.
A number of years ago, we had introduced some concept art, which players had seen, of an Angel Titan. It was a really cool concept. It was actually the Angel's logo, when viewed from the top down, turned into a ship, effectively. And people really loved this. It was very cool. It made a big splash, and boy, have we been hearing about that ever since. So it's about time that we finally actually made this thing a reality. The concept was revisited by our art team, and they came out with something just truly fantastic looking, which is now known as the Azariel, which will be coming to you in November.
So when we were looking at the Angel Titan design, we had these older concepts that had been floating around for some years. Looked at the base design there and saw there was something there to work with. We kind of took another pass on those, did a few concepts to support that idea that was the original design, but modified it to our kind of current standards. We're also looking at the Angel ship design as a whole, kind of where we want to take that, because we're creating more than one ship. We're drawing inspiration from animal skulls, insect armor plates, and things like that. So when we kind of go through that process of iterating on the designs, we do paint overs, blockouts with 3D, finalize a design, and then it's very much an iterative process of taking you to the final piece. Yeah, my part in all of this is working with the artists, finalizing the designs, nudging it a bit left and right, if you will, then working with the 3D artists as the project moves down into that part of the pipeline, then working with VFX, animation, just guiding it in the direction we want to take it. Yeah, I'm really happy with the updates on the Angel ships and the Titan especially. People have been waiting for a long time. And yeah, some mean-looking machines coming your way.
When I first started taking a look at the design of the Azariel, I needed to figure out how to merge the Angel bonuses that are very typical on Angel ships with a Titan. At first glance, the Angel bonuses don't really seem like they would apply well to a Titan. Angel ships all have a warp speed bonus as part of a default racial trait, which you can find on all Angel ships. And Titans, being the largest of the capital ships, are not particularly known for moving very much. So what good is a warp speed bonus? And when I started looking at this, I tried to figure out, are there other ways that we could twist this, where we thematically have something that is reminiscent of a warp speed bonus, but might be a little bit more useful? Maybe something like jump range or fuel conservation or something along those lines. And after a lot of thought, I wasn't really satisfied with any of these answers. And so when I was putting together a prototype, I actually just put the classic warp speed bonus on the ship. As I thought about it some more, it turns out that this warp speed bonus actually works really well for this kind of gameplay. It reduces the time for a Titan to get safe, which gives them just a little bit more of an edge. This hyperdunking gameplay also usually involves a Ragnarok in most cases, largely because the Ragnarok has some of the highest alpha damage in the game. The large artillery guns can put out a large heap of damage in just a single shot, kills the target, and warps away. With this Angel ship as well, Angels often use projectile guns. We can have the same sort of situation. And so I realized what I was designing was really the peak hyperdunking Titan at this point. Which I was like, all right, cool. I can roll with that. The ultimate hyperdunking Titan. Let's just lean into that. And I began to tune the stats around that in particular. When it came to tuning the stats, I was roughly aiming for DPS that was just shy of the Vanquisher, which is the highest DPS Titan in the game. So it's not quite the highest damage, but it has the highest alpha. So in terms of immediate damage applied to target, the Azariel will be the pinnacle. Over the last couple years, the Pirate Titans have had a pretty wide range of build materials and ways in which the blueprints are acquired and how much those blueprints cost. With the introduction of the Azariel, adding yet another Pirate Titan, we wanted to make sure that we could simplify the field, partly because it makes balancing for us easier. We can make sure that the Titans are all comparative to one another without having to worry so much about their cost, and partly to make sure that the ships are actually reasonable for you to acquire and build. In so doing, we've brought the build materials down for all Pirate Titans to the equivalent of a Tech 1 Titan. With this simplification of the build materials, it'll take you just as much material to build a Vanquisher as it takes to build an Erebus, or to build a Komodo as it takes to build a Leviathan, or an Azariel. With the build materials coming down, we wanted to move some of the cost of that Pirate Titan premium, which we still want to keep around. These are intended to be the pinnacle ships in the game. We wanted to move some of that premium to the blueprint acquisition cost. So Pirate Titan blueprints have been pretty expensive for a while, as anyone who has attempted to buy one knows. The only source for many of the blueprints was coming from pirate shipyards. For example, the Komodo or the Moloch, which are only available from Guristas or Blood Raider shipyards. Or for the Vanquisher, which was available from the LP store for the Serpentis. In the Serpentis LP store, the Vanquisher was a bit of an outlier again. All of its cost was in its build materials, whereas the LP store side was relatively cheap, comparatively speaking, to the other Titans. So we needed to increase the base cost of the LP required in order to purchase the blueprint, while simultaneously planning to bring down the build materials. Having that upfront premium on our side makes it a little bit easier for us to adjust the valuation of these ships without having to make an adjustment to the blueprint materials, which is a little bit more impactful every time we want to adjust the position of these ships in the ecosystem. There's been a lot of desire from players to finally see an Angel Titan added to the game, and we knew this when we went into the project, and so we've put a lot of love into it, both from the design side and the art side, and we hope you'll love it too. We look forward to seeing them in space.